Hello, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. Today I want to have a little fun discussion about Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch games. So yes, this video does have to do with the library of the Nintendo Switch, what exists currently, and what we can expect coming up soon. But I don't want the title of this video to freak out and make you think that I'm here to totally crap all over the Switch and just surprise you all with all this negative news and information and oh my god, Rob has all these bad feelings about the Switch. I never saw that coming. I kind of had no choice other than to really title the video what it was, but it really isn't a negative conversation and it's not meant to be anything like that. So I don't want anyone to misinterpret it as something like that. I do want to discuss what the majority of the library of the Switch currently consists of, and then also what it is I'm hoping to see and excited to see that we know we're getting very soon. So what is the crux of the real topic that I'm getting at here today? What is it that I'm getting at? So the majority of the games right now, I've noticed this, that make up the Switch's library, very good games, are primarily multiplayer games, even the ones coming from Nintendo with the exception pretty much of Breath of the Wild. And that's great, and that's interesting, and I feel like it's something that Nintendo has been working really hard to push to the forefront of their gaming, and they're trying to show that they can be competitive in the online space. Whether or not they're going to succeed there with things like an online app that no one wants and stuff like that, we don't really yet know. But regardless of how it's executed, I do think that they're trying very, very hard to be successful at it, and they are acknowledging that it is important to today's gamer. And when you look at the fact that of the major first-party games that have released for the Switch, which is 4 so far, 3 of them have a huge online and multiplayer focus. Obviously, Mario Kart, ARMS, and Splatoon comes out like in a couple of days. So I'm kind of throwing that in there, even though it's not technically released yet. It is a game that we're all going to be playing a couple of days from the recording of this video. And they've already done a test fire for 2 weekends. And then, of course, they just had the Splatfest. So they've already been giving us that Splatoon goodness. And it's like, okay, Nintendo's really big on the multiplayer stuff right now. And like I said, that's great. I really have no inherent problem with that. Especially because Mario Kart, even though I don't have Deluxe yet, it's the same game, only prettier and with a new mode. So I know that that's a great game. That's like an amazing game. And I know Splatoon 2 is going to blow our minds. I've said it so many times. Even though I only semi-enjoyed the first game, I am so excited for Splatoon 2. I am so jazzed for that single-player campaign, the new maps and the modes in Salmon Run, and the better visuals. Like, it's going to be so fantastic. And ARMS is a totally fine game. I'm actually not in love with ARMS. I do have some problems with it, but it's definitely a fantastically made game. The final product, the amount of care and effort that went into it, the way the engine runs very smoothly, very cleanly, very unique game. Nintendo put a lot of effort into that, so all of their multiplayer outings have been great games and will continue to be great games. I like to see the shift for Nintendo. But what I started to notice is right now, like in my life, not right now like this week, but in my life, I'm kind of less into these kinds of games. And I started to realize that once I finally made my way through Zelda, which for those of you who know me or have been following me like on Twitter, for example, I really drug the Zelda experience out. I mean, almost 2 months to the day before I finally decided to go and fight the final boss battle and get that game done with, because I just didn't want it to end. It was so great, and I loved still having new stuff ahead of me. So I made that last for about 2 months, and then ever since I completed Zelda, I really haven't had a whole lot to be excited for on the Switch. I was excited for ARMS, and I own ARMS. I picked the game up. And, you know, the first week it was out, I was just too busy to play it much. And ever since then, I've played it quite a bit. I do enjoy it, but it hasn't really grabbed me. Mario Kart 8, it's a great game, but it's a game we all played last generation. Splatoon 2 is going to be interesting. I know I've already talked about this, but the point is, I started to realize, you know, none of these games are really grabbing me. I haven't had that many reasons to play my Switch for extended periods of time, pretty much since Zelda came out, which has been the majority of the life of the Switch since it released. That's definitely kind of a tough thing for myself as a huge Nintendo fan and a huge gamer to realize, but it's like, you know what? It's just the cold, hard truth of it. The Switch is, as a device, as a home console, and as a home console that is also a portable, it is fantastic. I love the device, I love the machine, I love the cleanness of the OS. I don't care that we don't have Netflix and Hulu and all that crap on it. Like, I'll be excited whenever that stuff eventually comes, but it's not really what I hang my Nintendo Switch hat on. I don't really care about that stuff as far as just how it operates, what it is, I love it. I love showing it off to friends. I did it last night at our Game of Thrones / birthday party for myself and my good friend. Like, I think it's a great device, but the library really isn't grabbing me, despite being full of good games. So I'm not here to tell you that the library is bad. I don't think it's bad. It just has yet to have a lot of games that are interesting to me. It's primarily multiplayer stuff. It's primarily indie games, which I don't really get into and enjoy, although I do enjoy Fast Racing Remix, and I've just started playing the game Implosion, and I love that game. It is absolutely right up my alley as far as mindless, simple fun. But other than that, it's really a bunch of experiences that aren't really catered to me. Like I said, I'm not at a point in my life where I'm really into a lot of online multiplayer stuff. The only online multiplayer games I really care about are Call of Duty, and I enjoy Gears of War, and, you know, like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart when they're new iterations, not when it's necessarily a remaster of a last generation version. It's more like Mario Kart 9 and Smash Brothers 5 that would get me really excited. So for myself, it's really those big, long, expansive, and crazy deep single-player experiences and campaigns and story-based games. That's what I'm into in general, just in my life when I'm normally playing the kind of stuff I love on my Nintendo console or my PlayStation or my Xbox. Those are the things that I'm always looking for and looking forward to. Other than Splatoon 2, you know, like I said, Splatoon 2 is coming in a couple days. Very excited for that, and I will be playing it a lot. But, you know, I'm looking for those deeper games. Those games that are like what Breath of the Wild is. Just a huge adventure, just a story, just an open world, just however you want to tell this game. I don't need to worry about playing a round-based kind of match with somebody, whether it's a shooter or a fighter or whatever. Like, I'm not really too much into that kind of stuff. So luckily, Nintendo has a couple of games on the horizon that I am so excited for that reason. Obviously, the two big, huge ones are Super Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Those are games that, to me, are probably going to get the most playtime on my Switch since Zelda. ARMS is fine, that's cute, whatever, that's an okay game, whatever. Splatoon is going to be great for a while, but I'll probably still very much split a lot of my gaming time amongst my other consoles where I have something story-based to still go through that I haven't completed maybe, or replay. I love to replay games like that. But once Mario Odyssey comes out, and then hopefully sometime soon after that, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that's when I'm going to be really, really into my Switch and digging it and playing it like there's going to be no tomorrow. There are two other games that are this year that I am also very excited for similar reasons. Fire Emblem Warriors and Mario Plus Rabbids is a game that I'm definitely going to be picking up. I'm not like over the moon excited for it, and I discussed when the game was still in its rumor state, I discussed how it never sounded like an interesting concept, and I have since very much admitted that, hey, I was surprised. We saw it at E3, and it looks good. It looks fun. I love the art style. Weirdly, the combination of these characters on screen makes a lot of sense. It's not as jarring as I would have maybe expected, and the gameplay, for being the strategic kind of element, and a lot of people make the XCOM comparison, for having that kind of gameplay, it doesn't look like amazingly exciting to me. It's not like something I'm just chomping at the bit to play, but it looks good. It looks more than serviceable. It looks fun. And it's a Nintendo property, a Nintendo game. We know it's Ubisoft, but Nintendo and Miyamoto definitely worked to make sure this game is good. It's going to be a good game. It's the kind of game that we know will have that Nintendo seal of quality, you know, like the thematic version of it that exists today. And so I just know that I'm going to enjoy that game in some way. It's going to be a fun game. That's what Nintendo does. So for the most part, to sum this whole conversation up, the Switch is an amazing console that I'm so happy with, but what's been making me sad is not having a lot of games that are speaking to me right now. Seeing Nintendo make such a polar shift to an online and multiplayer focused kind of gaming experience is surprising. It's a welcome surprise, and it's something that I hope they continue and maybe deliver in a more sporadic fashion going forward. But I'm still excited for the future of the machine, and thank God, even before the end of the year, let alone whatever's going to happen in 2018 and beyond, before the end of the year, there are still 4 significant single-player experiences on their way. Nintendo just very interestingly chose to mostly fill the first half of the console's first year with multiplayer stuff. And, you know, like I said, I can't entirely fault them for that. It's just a shame I haven't had more reasons to want to play my Switch on such a consistent basis, because typically a brand new Nintendo console, it would be all I'm playing for a very, very long time. And like I said, once Zelda was done, that hasn't been the case. I still love the console, but I'm waiting for these other games, man. Mario Odyssey, oh my god, Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's gonna be an amazing holiday. I mean, Nintendo's gonna turn this ship around, in my eyes, very, very soon, and I'm very excited for that. The question will be, what are they gonna do after this? I mean, what will their focus really be once we hit 2018 and beyond? Is Nintendo going to continue to really try to push these online and multiplayer-focused kind of experiences? Maybe if they're working on a new IP outside of ARMS, is it going to be something else that would be a multiplayer-focused game? Whatever the hell Retro Studios is working on, is that going to be a multiplayer-focused game? At this point, seeing what Nintendo's first-year MO really has been, or I should say first 6-month MO has been, I wouldn't be shocked if Retro is making some sort of multiplayer-heavy kind of game. And I would still be excited because it's Retro and it's Nintendo, and I'm sure they're going to make a quality game, but I would be a little bit disappointed if that's true, because as I've been saying this whole video, I'm just less into that stuff right now. I only want the occasional multiplayer game. I don't want to be bombarded with it. So I guess we'll see what happens after this year and after this holiday plays out and Mario and Fire Emblem and Xenoblade comes out and probably just rocks our world and blows our minds and gets us so excited and gets me so happy to be playing my Switch so often. You know, this whole conversation was really just me speaking from my perspective and my opinion. I know a lot of you guys out there, a lot of folks that are Nintendo fans might totally not care that it's been a lot of multiplayer stuff, and everyone's happy to play Mario Kart and then go right into ARMS and then go right into Splatoon and not really worry about single-player stories and campaigns and missions and stuff, and that's fine. That's great. Again, Nintendo makes great games. Even when they make a game that doesn't blow me away like ARMS, they still have made a good game. I can still see how good of a game that is, and I still do enjoy playing it the little bit that I still decide to try it. So, you know, I'll be really curious to hear what you guys think. You know, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see it very multiplayer heavy at first? Do you like that? Do you dislike that? Are you like me and more looking forward to this huge kind of stack, this really awesome run of 4 big single-player games that we're going to have coming up starting in the next couple of months? Actually, starting next month, because Mario plus Rabbids comes out in August. And then, oh man, who knows when Fire Emblem Warriors is going to come out. But, you know, are you more like me? Are you waiting for that run of games? Or are you just completely content? You're not really worried about it? Whatever it is, you know. Talk about how you feel about the Nintendo Switch library so far and where it's going to be going pretty soon. And I think that's it. So, yeah, just wanted to share my feelings on that stuff, guys. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I'll catch you next time on another video.